Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All praises are Allah's, Lord of the worlds, and may His peace and blessings be upon our Master, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, and his pure, immaculate Ahlulbayt. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. First of all, I would like to congratulate you all on this very auspicious occasion of Eid al-Ghadeer. It's an honor to be able to speak with you and share a few moments with you once again. I still have very vivid memories of the holy month of Ramadan when I was in your presence, and inshallah I'll have the tawfiq and divine success to be with you and accompany you all again inshallah soon. The committee, they contacted me and they told me to speak a few words, and I accepted with utmost pleasure. And inshallah the theme I've chosen, will go through it very slowly and gently. There may be a few difficult concepts here and there which may take some time for people to digest, but it's worth it, inshallah. It's in relation to Shaf'at, and however I'm going to read from Imam Khomeini's perspective of Shaf'at and intercession, and we'll go through it. I'll read from it the English translation, which is my own translation, but it may have a few errors here and there, but on the whole it does send the message clearly, and it's a very straightforward message that Imam wants to convey to us. It's not the understanding of Shaf'at which Muslims on the whole, especially Shia Muslims, have. This is a very specific interpretation and understanding that Imam Khomeini has, and when I go through it, inshallah, there are many marginal points during the few paragraphs that inshallah I hope to read for you. There are many marginal points on this side which also bears a lot of benefit, and understanding those marginal points alone would suffice too. Okay, so Imam, in one of his works, he writes the following. He says that one of the misfortunes that we Muslims are facing, and which is in its own right extraordinarily unfortunate, is that we are interpreting the divine traditions and customs, and we believe that the question and issue of the hereafter and one's recompensation there is conventional and arbitrary in nature. We do this with our rationality and intellects, not intellects that have been accurately nurtured under the auspices of the Sharia, but rather intellects that have been fostered under the auspices of unworthy, deficient ones. This idea that we see and evaluate the question of the hereafter as something conventional, arbitrary. Now, I think I've discussed with the community some aspects of this before, that the whole question of the hereafter, it's a question of tajassumul a'mal. It's our actions in this world which will be manifested there. So the nature between our actions in this world and their manifestations in the hereafter, it's a cause and effect relationship. It's not just any arbitrary matter. Like when someone speeds on the motorway, this speeding and this granting a fine to the speeder, let's say of $20, there's no cause and effect relationship between speeding So the relationship between someone speeding and the person receiving a $20 bill isn't a cause and effect, isn't a natural relationship. Whereas the relationship between our actions in this world and the hereafter is a cause and effect relationship, because the hereafter is exactly one and the same as our actions in this world. It's two different manifestations of one reality. They're not two mutually exclusive things. So this is a natural relationship, and that's why the hereafter, or the world rather, this world is the hereafter's farmyard according to traditions from the Ahlulbayt. It's all here. Okay, so this relationship isn't something arbitrary. The question and issue of the hereafter isn't something arbitrary. It's a real, natural cause and effect relationship that we are handling, moment to moment. Then Imam Khomeini continues, and we believe those who are under the auspices of those unworthy deficient ones, and we believe that the servant's merit of being punished or rewarded is conventional, and that the Master, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, based on this arbitrary matter, either punishes and or just puts an end to it all and says, I have pardoned you, you may leave, or someone will come and say, I beg you to let me go free, and we have deemed this to constitute the reality of Shaf'at, the reality of intercession. That someone comes and says, I beg you to let me go free, or someone says, I come and beg you, Allah, to let this person go free, and that's it. That person is then freed. Or someone will come and say, I've pardoned you, and that's it. Conventional matter. Do you know, as someone is fined on the motorway, the police comes and fines them a $20 bill. Here, the person pleads forgiveness and says, can you forgive me this once? Can you give me a discount? The policeman says, yes, I do forgive you. I pardon you. I won't give you a $20 bill. I'll give you a $10 bill, or I won't even give you a bill. You see, with conventional punishments, it's discountable. It can be pardoned any time. However, the reality of the hereafter isn't like this form of punishment. It's a cause and effect relationship. It can't be discounted. It can't be just pardoned by someone saying, I pardoned you. It's a real cause and effect relationship here. But we've taken it and interpreted it as something, someone comes, gives intercession, and that's the end of that. Imam Khomeini goes against this understanding of Shaf'at, goes against this understanding of intercession. Then Imam Khomeini continues, furthermore, some of our Mambaris, the Mambari people like me, those who speak from the pulpit, Imam is now attacking the Mambaris. He's saying some of our Mambaris, those speaking from the pulpit, have extended and exaggerated the matter for themselves in order to be given a pulpit. In order for centers to give them a pulpit, they've made such a big thing and exaggerated the whole issue of intercession. Now Imam is going to continue and give an example of how they make warm their communities and their majalis and assemblies by speaking in a particular fashion, but taking these poor people who are listening in the wrong direction. They're misinterpreting religion according to Imam Khomeini. Don't get me wrong, intercession is a truth, it's a reality. It's just that the way it's being introduced to certain communities, it's going to be poisonous. Imam says, so some of our Mambaris have extended and exaggerated the matter of intercession for themselves in order to be given a pulpit. So they've exaggerated the matter of intercession in order for people to invite them, because that's what people want. Some people want it erroneously, and then they keep on feeding this material to them, warming the majalis. This can be problematic. Imam doesn't appreciate what these mambaris are doing. And some of them have Imam continues in relation to these mambaris, and some of them have simply not understood and have subsequently taken a certain meaning from a given tradition without acknowledging either the tradition's authenticity or its indication and signification, what its meaning is. And by way of example, now Imam wants to give an example. Now the month of Muharram is coming soon. Imam gives an example in relation to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the master of martyrs. And by way of example, what these mambaris do is they assign the master of martyrs as an intercessor who will intercede for whoever dies, and that Allah will let go the conventional punishment that was awaiting the person, and he will no longer be punished. This is how they interpret certain traditions. You merely cry, shed a tear for Imam Hussein, whatever punishment which is awaiting you, and you believe punishment is something conventional, as many Muslims believe. You don't believe it's a cause and effect relationship, and that your heaven or hell exists right now, and you are its director, you are its creator. From moment to moment you're creating it. You don't believe it exists right now. You think it will come one day in the future. You don't believe it exists right now, as the Urafa do. You think it's a conventional point. What does that mean? You're just a fine of $20 is awaiting you. But Imam Hussein, since you shed a tear, he will say, let that fine go, let it be cancelled, and let this man or woman be freed, be forgiven, by simply just uttering a sentence of pardoning. You see the difference between a conventional and the real cause and effect hereafter, and how it affects intercession. Now you see, one problem with this understanding is that, and forgive my language, but if you believe in this kind of intercession, where because of a single tear, this conventional punishment that is awaiting you will be liberated and you will be freed, you are, in quotes, forgive the terminology, you are Christian in aqaid. However, inna ad-deena indallahi al-Islam. Religion before Allah is Islam. All prophets came with the religion of Islam, of submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All religions, those real, undistorted, true religions, divine religions, monotheistic religions, all religions are called Islam. No religion in reality is called Christianity or Judaism. Every religion, divine religion that has come on earth is called Islam. However, the manifestation of this Islam differs. The perfection of these Islams differ. Muhammadan Islam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the most perfect and infinite message of religion. But all previous religions, they were Islam too. When someone says the religion is called Christianity, that's the distorted Islam they're speaking about. Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam was neither Christian nor Jew. According to the verse of the Holy Quran, he was Islam, he was Muslim. A true Hanifi Muslim. So they assign the Master of Martyrs, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, as an intercessor who will intercede for whoever dies, and that Allah will let go the conventional punishment that was awaiting the person, and he will no longer be punished. Okay, and there the marginal point was, be careful. The way you have aqa'id, it may be, in quotes, forgive the expression, Christian. Now this isn't something totally alien to Islamic teachings. There are many things, many rituals, many principles of aqa'id that if you go the wrong way according to explicit traditions, you will be resurrected as a Jew or a Christian. One of them being the month of Hajj now, is if you were able to go to Hajj and you missed out on it, you'll be resurrected in a very poor state, not as a Muslim. Although your good deeds will be accepted and everything, but this one deed will be manifested and embodied as a Jew or Christian. It's going to be very difficult, and as we progress, I'll give further examples. So here, this is one point. Then Imam continues by saying, but punishment there, in the hereafter, is tantamount to the direct emanation of the servant's essence and to the individual's identity, being based upon the manifestation of the disposition's outcome. It was a bit long twisted here, the terminology, especially the jargon, but it means punishment there isn't something conventional. It's a direct result and consequence and emanation of your actions here. It's one reality, but your actions are manifested somehow, in some way, in this world, and then in the hereafter, those same actions is manifested in another way. But the recompensation and your actions, not only are they vertical to one another, they are one another per se. And that's a very important Quranic principle. And we've talked about that during the month of Ramadan when I was there. Okay, so it's not something, punishment won't be conventional there. It's something natural, real. And then saying that, after saying that, Imam says, can such outcomes and consequences ever be discarded simply on request? When it's a real cause and effect relationship, can a mere request get rid of and discard of that punishment, which is a direct result of your actions? When you put your hand in fire, your hand is burned. That can't be discountable. Burning is a natural result of you putting your hand in fire. By someone saying, let him be pardoned, it doesn't rejuvenate your skin cells. So Imam then asks a rhetorical question. It's a rhetorical question. Can such outcomes ever be discarded simply on request? Meaning, no, they can't. Is the issue of intercession like the merit of being punished that we have in mind, so that we compare this form of pardoning to as being conventional and arbitrary, like pardoning that occurs in this world? This pardoning of, and this is what intercession is, it's a form of pardoning. But this pardoning of intercession, are you evaluating it on a par with the form of pardoning that we do in this world? How, in this world, when someone does you wrong, you just pardon them? Is that why are we interpreting the reality of intercession in worldly terms? Just because we're used to a conventional pardoning in this world, it doesn't mean that the reality of the hereafter is going to be like that. We have the means of arrogance before us, and Shaitan makes these means appear in disguise for the holy and the religious people. A wrong belief in intercession is a form of arrogance that Shaitan has distilled and diffused within us, within the holy people, the religious people, where they become arrogant now. They think Imam Hussein will forgive all their sins by simply shedding a tear. And this is very important to bear in mind. So many holy and religious people may fall in this trap and say we will be forgiven by Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and this will be a source of arrogance. Look how dangerous and delicate this is. And then Imam says, moreover, those who aren't even religious at all, right, they don't pay any heed to religion, these people express no feelings of regret or remorse when they listen to such interpretations, because they sin and believe they will be forgiven with a tear. Okay. The next point that Imam mentions is that intercession that is expressed by the texts, the Holy Quran, the traditions of the Ahlulbayt, and which is indisputable amongst Muslims, embraces and includes a very small and limited number of people, almost deemed non-existent. Then he says, by no means will it be applied on the excessively comprehensive scale that we have taken for granted, i.e., that however much man sins and commits oppression, intercession will still be allocated to them. No, because now he's entering now the esoteric, the ultimate meaning of Shaf'at. It's not like we think that you sin whatever you want, with a single tear you'll be forgiven everything. And if there are some traditions that speak like that, it's in relation to a very, very small, limited number of people, almost deemed non-existent. However, the essence of Shaf'at is this. He says no, because intercession, Shaf'at, comes from the word Shaf'a, which means being paired. Being paired. You see, now we're getting to the root meaning of Shaf'at. When it is said that Allah's wali, like Imam Hussein for example, alayhi salam, when it is said that Allah's wali will intercede, it means that the light of wilaya appends, joins to the light of one who is seeking intercession, and the two lights pair up and intermarry, and the former light attracts and takes the latter light with him. But as long as the servant, me and you, carries no light, how can pairing or the marriage of the two lights, our light and the light of the wali, be deemed feasible? When we carry no light, how can we be paired and be attracted to the light of the wali? How can we be paired? How can we be paired and intermarry with the wali? How can we receive intercession? There's no compatibility because we don't carry any light. So as long as the servant carries no light, how can pairing or the marriage of the two lights be deemed feasible? Is Shaf'at going to be realized in a manner towards which we have become complacent and self-conceited? That just by a tear everything will be forgiven? Oh no, it requires striving and firm, resolute endeavors to receive Shaf'at. You have to reach a stage where you have light, and so your light can be paired with the light of Allah's wali, so that then you can intermarry. You can then receive intercession. You can then pair up and acquire Shaf'at with Allah's wali. These are very important points here. Let me just explain this more, with your permission. Although this part of the clip is coming to an end, inshallah I'll explain this in more detail in the next clip. Yes. So this is the main message now of Shaf'at, and that is, and Imam has this in another of his works. He says that Shaf'at is the zuhur, the dhuhur, the manifestation of one's acquired guidance in this world. In this world. The guidance from XYZ people that you receive in this world will be resurrected and manifested and embodied in the hereafter. Intercession in the hereafter is a direct product of the guidance you received, you abided by in this world. This is Shaf'at. It's another way of tajassumul a'mal. Under whose guidance did you live by in this world? And how much guidance, how much did you abide by that person's guidance? Okay, was it Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Did you read his life story? Did you read his maxims, his advices? Did you follow it dot to dot? Was it the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Did you read his instructions, his etiquettes dot to dot when you were in this world? Did you follow it? If you followed it in proportion to the amount that you followed the instructions of the Holy Messenger, of Imam Hussein, of Amirul Mu'mineen, and so on and so forth, to the degree that you abided by their guidance, that degree will be manifested, and Shafa'ah will be manifested to that degree in the hereafter. The more it is, the more you will benefit from intercession. But you acquired this in this world. It wasn't a conventional matter that you enter now the hereafter, it's a different place, and now you're waiting for someone coming to help you and pardon you and liberate you. It's a direct result of what you did in this world. The main point is this, that in Irfan, this Shafa'ah is defined as the manifestation of the guidance of the awliya. The guidance of the awliya that you abided by will manifest, and it will become apparent, the dhuhur, its manifestation will become apparent to you in the hereafter. But you achieved this and acquired this in this world. How? You abided by the awliya, the imams, the prophets. You abided by them. To the degree that you abided by the guidance of the awliya, that will manifest itself as Shafa'ah in the hereafter. So the criterion is that the criterion that every one of us have to ask ourselves is, am I under the influence of a wali of Allah right now, today? Am I under the influence of Imam Hussein? Am I under the influence of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam? Am I under the influence of our Master, the Holy Messenger? Am I under their influence? Am I following their guidance? Am I following their instructions, their wajibat? Am I following their ethics, their etiquettes, their adab? Am I following their preferences, their wishes? If you are following the awliya today in this world, you will receive Shafa'ah. But you have to sow the seeds in this world. The seeds of Shafa'ah have to be planted in this world. It's a cause and effect relationship, this world and the hereafter. There's no conventional arbitrary matter at stake. Everything here, the world is the hereafter's farmyard. And that's why in some traditions it says, one who abandons the salat won't reach our intercession. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam has said this. He doesn't say that our intercession will not reach you. No, if you didn't do the salat, you will not reach our intercession. Don't go the other way around and say our intercession won't reach you. No, you didn't do salat. So the ultimate criterion is, how much were you under the guidance of the awliya? How much did you follow them? Now this is a very long discussion. Because in addition to the Imams, the Prophets, many other classes of people can act as an intercessor also. There are degrees to being an intercessor. The true shuhada also can be intercessors. For example, someone who has become shaheed, like Shahid Chamran, for example, someone which many Iranians, many Lebanese people and other communities, everyone has heard of Shahid Chamran. A true shaheed. How much did you follow his instructions? How much did you follow his guidance? If you followed his guidance to the dot, you will benefit to some degree. Not like you would benefit from the Imams, of course not. Because all intercession stems from the Imams ultimately. But I'm saying, even this is a long discussion, but intercession can be applied to there too. And then we believe even Christians and Jews and other religions, they will see Amirul Mu'mineen in a good state or a bad state, but they will see Amirul Mu'mineen. They may benefit from Amirul Mu'mineen, because a Christian may live under the guidance of Prophet Isa alayhi salam. This is also following one of the awliya to the dot, and that will be manifested in the hereafter, and it may be manifested as Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Let's not be complacent here. It's all about action in this world. What kind of action? To be guided. How? Follow the awliya. Follow the awliya. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who we're following sometimes. This lecture, I know I've mentioned many marginal points, but it's important to take this into mind. Okay. Then Imam continues and says, the principle of Shaf'at is indisputable and may be undeniable, but the point pertains to the manner of its realization. No one doubts that Shaf'at is haqq. The question is on the quality and the manner of how Shaf'at is going to be realized. Is it just a conventional matter, or is it a real cause and effect relationship here? It has been forwarded in a manner that cannot be accepted with assurance. The way some Mambaris are putting this forward, it can't be accepted with such assurance. And then Imam says the Quran has raised this issue of intercession with utmost complexity, and has very ambiguously said, who is it that grants intercession without Allah's permission? Can intercession be realized without Allah's will? The answer is no. Is it known when and at what occasions Allah will grant permission? We don't know. It may take 2,000 million years, Imam Khomeini writes, before intercession is granted. We don't know. It's ambiguously put forward in the Holy Quran, this concept of intercession. Yes, it's haqq, but it's not straightforward. The way some Shias are speaking about it, it's not as straightforward as that. It may take 2,000 million years. It may not even be granted to the Shias. For sure, Allah's permission has to be granted, but only when the servant's light has the potential to accept marriage with the light of wilaya. Only then will Allah's permission be granted. But you have to behold that light. Where? Follow guidance. Where? In this world. How? Be under the auspices and influence of the awliya. And then by default, so we have to be under the auspices of the awliya. We have to act and be guided by them. We have to follow their instructions, their etiquettes, and so on and so forth. That is Shaf'at. That is Shaf'at. But it's going to be difficult. Now there's another discussion, although I don't want to divert too much, but in relation to Wilayat al-Faqih, during the time of the occultation of the 12th Imam, that's very important who you follow there. And then, although inshallah I'll elaborate on this in future lectures and everything, but there it's important for the wali to be a believer of, and more than a believer, of Wahdatul Wujud. Now, for those who have carefully followed up to now, they would have appreciated what the link is. If they haven't, you have to just keep on returning. And then the Wali Faqih, yes. And Imam Khomeini had that. Now, those leaders after Imam Khomeini, even if they don't have this concept of Wahdatul Wujud, they don't see the reality, assuming that's the case, they have to follow that previous leader dot to dot, and that's what we're seeing. Well, sorry for making this political, but just imagine in very general terms, someone is a leader, a Wali Faqih, let's give no names, they have to have this Wahdatul Wujud. If they pass away, the next leader, if they don't have Wahdatul Wujud, which is not just believing it, it's more than just believing, it doesn't matter, they can still lead, but they have to follow that previous pioneer who did have Wahdatul Wujud. And here, this has a lot of connotations. It helps us too in relation to choosing the Wali Faqih. But what is the link of Wahdatul Wujud with all that we've said? It's a very delicate one, but it's not the main purpose of our talk here. I just said that so that people, when you hear Wahdatul Wujud, don't be scared. Just take this for granted for now, that Wahdatul Wujud is nothing to be scared of. It's something which is supported in the Holy Quran and in the traditions. People are scared of this. It's interesting that two terms of, when people hear, they become very threatened. One is Wilayat al-Faqih and one is Wahdatul Wujud. And actually the link is very, very close. More close than we would like to feel. Okay, so here we have to be under such guidance. So we have to act in this world. We have to plant this guidance of the awliya in this world. So we have to bear light. The more we act on a par with the guidance of the awliya, the more light we will have. And then that light will be manifested in the hereafter, and we can intermarry and be connected with and be joined with and have Shaf'at and Shafa'at and pair up with the light of Wilaya. It's a direct consequence of that light that we've acquired for ourselves in this world. Okay, then Imam says, for sure, Allah's permission has to be granted, but only when the servant's light has the potential to accept marriage with the light of Wilaya. But if the light of the servant is left under the manifold layers of darkness, one on top of the other, and the veils of concealed shirk and evil and dark dispositions are surrounding him or her, under such circumstances, is their marriage with the light of Allah's wali even conceivable? Answer, no. Is Shafa'at conceivable? Answer, no. And you may never be granted. You, O follower of Amir al-Mu'mineen, because of being just veiled with darkness and evil as a result of your actions and not abiding by the Imam and not abiding by the awliya, you may never, it's not even conceivable that you can pair up and intermarry with the light of Allah's wali. Shafa'ah has no meaning here for such people. Allahu Akbar. These are important concepts that Imam Khomeini is mentioning here. We are talking about divine permission here. Divine permission is not to be compared to my and your permission, which is conventional and arbitrary. divine permission, Imam continues, isn't Allah just saying, I have granted you permission. It's a real providential takweeni permission. It's real, it's not conventional. Furthermore, Allah's forgiveness, it's real. It's not something which is conventional or arbitrary. It's a real matter. It's a cause and effect relationship. Allah's mercy is real. These are all objective and external realities of nature, of the cosmos. Over there, in the hereafter, there is no room, place for arbitration. Meriting punishment there is a reality, and this punishment is one of the necessary outcomes of one's identity and one's soul's dispositions. And so the scorpions, the fire in the hereafter, these are all products, direct cause and effect, products of our soul, and they're not pardonable by word. Then Imam now wants to introduce another dimension to the story of intercession, which is important. It's on forgiveness, because intercession ultimately has its underlying rationale lies in forgiveness. But this forgiveness, what does it mean? And he wants to enter this discussion. And in this new discussion, many other marginal points will come, especially in relation to the hereafter. And inshallah we'll continue this another time. I just want to end, first of all, Eid al-Mubarak to all of you. I really wish the best for your community, and inshallah the unity, the verve, the joy amongst all of you together, one group, one community. You can always expand on your ties of friendship. Try and maintain that. During the month of Ramadan it was very good. Try and maintain this. This community is unique, alhamdulillah. And inshallah I'll have the pleasure to see you all soon in the near future. And I'll give another series of lectures, inshallah. I'll continue with this theme of intercession. Imam continues and he mentions other new points. So inshallah accept my farewells. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.